because OBS can be a pain in the backside, and I'm live. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another transfer extravaganza. It is non-stop at the moment. So many stories to get into, and I'm very, very happy to be joined by Mr. Adam Gray alongside me. Now, Adam, the topics we are going to get into. We have had Bryan Mbeumo, however you pronounce it. A bid has been rejected from Brentford. We'll talk about that. Gyökeres interest back into Manchester United. Could that be a deal that's done? Is it feasible? Very interesting times if she's to bring him in, as well as Cunha and Mbeumo. Real Betis back at the table for Antony. Let's see if we can get that deal done. Wilcox has got a new role at United. There's a new third kit that's been out, been leaked, and we'll talk about that. There's some stuff on PSR. I mean, there's loads of shit to get into. So let's just start off with, how are you?
I'm doing good. It's been a hectic, 5 days into the window it is? This mini window they're calling it?
Yeah. Sorry. Oh, shit. What the heck? What's going on here?
I just saw that the screens all went black.
Discord's just... Hello? There we go.
Look, we failed to comply with PSR now, so it's gone. We're thrown out.
What on earth is going on? Sorry, people. Mate, Discord's having a fucking nightmare. What's going on?
Well, we found our clip anyway, we did.
Yeah. Right on time, right. Turn off camera. How can I turn off... Camera's on! Oh, my goodness me. I'm really confused. Turn off camera, turn on camera. I'll back out 2 seconds.
This is interesting, people, isn't it?
Mate, honestly, my camera... I'm so sorry, people who are watching. Oh, my God.
No, Nick's camera is on. I can actually see him, but for whatever reason, it's not coming through on the screen. Yeah, I can see you, yeah.
What the fuck?
But I can see on this stream that it's not, for whatever reason.
Hey, I actually don't know, because it says camera on. Turn off camera. What the fuck is going on here? Right, Adam, do us a favour. I'm going to ask you about the Mbeumo bid, right? So United have submitted an opening offer to sign Bryan Mbeumo, 45 plus 10. It's been rejected. How much should we pay for him, and what should his wages be? And whilst you do that, I'll get me with the camera, okay?
Okay. Okay. Well, how we see it so far is there's reports that they're looking for a similar kind of fee to Cunha. And it's obviously just all tactics. Like, they're going to start high, we're going to start a bit lower, and hopefully meet in the middle. The rumor is they want something around maybe 50 million guaranteed, but then do the add-ons as well, taking it possibly up to 60. Do we agree a flat-out fee? I think it'll eventually come to the point of about 50 million, something like that. And like, you're getting a proven Prem player who can play in multiple positions, and not many people notice, but he can also play wing back as well, which is quite an interesting trait, especially in Ruben Amorim's system. So you have a very versatile player, and these are the sort of players we need when injuries do happen, especially along the forward line. It's a signing that I'd be really happy with. You're talking about 20 goals in a Brentford team in the Premier League, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think it could be 7 or 8 assists as well. So nearly, over 25 goal, I suppose, involvements. I may as well go into some of the comments when I'm waiting for Nick. My damned United afternoon in advance to everyone. Anyone else wondering where Ben Jacobs' head's at this morning? Some strange takes on various topics on the channel that shall not be named this morning. Tend to watch all during no interviews, but yeah, Ben Jacobs is it's been a wee bit all over the place. It's an interesting time this is.
Mate,
we're getting there, folks.
I've plugged my other camera in, and it's still not working. And I honestly don't know this. I actually don't know what's happened. I'm clicking turn off camera.
So guys, if you're ever wondering, this is all behind the scenes. What usually happens.
Oh,
this is why we
God.
Always come in 15 minutes early, sort all this, and the second you launch,
I'm here.
It goes like this.
I'm here. I've made it. I'm on the screen.
He's back.
I'm really, really bright. But let's see if I can... Oh, no, I'm not going to try, but fuck it. What can we call it? I'm not going to tempt fate, and I really need to send this lighting down because I look like a pint of Cravendale milk at the minute. Let me...
You look more Irish than me.
Literally, I'm so sorry, people who just tuned in and are like, mate, I'm looking at a fucking pink screen here. What on earth is going on? And I promise you, I will get into proper news. Right. Hopefully that's a bit better. Why is... I don't know why my brightness is everywhere. I'm losing my idea. Okay. I'm on the screen. We can resume things as normal. Apologies, people. Welcome.
It wasn't bad enough for Nick. He was waiting to get a coffee. He had such a coffee story before.
Yeah.
Multiple
Do you know
shops.
what? I'll explain. So what today, it's basically, this is a whole lot of evidence of what's happened today. So I went out for a coffee, as I usually do. There's an Asda near me, right? That has a Leon coffee machine. Went there, they're cleaning it, as they always fucking do. I mean, it must be just spotless, the amount of times that they clean it. Then, so, right, I can't get it there. Let's try Tesco, because they've got a Costa machine there. Go there. Oh, no, we've moved the machine, mate, today. We've moved the machine. Right, all right, no worries. Fuck's sake. Go to Morrison's petrol station, where they have a Costa machine. Result, bang. We got it. We get back. Discord starts playing up. But, look, listen... You got to go through the rain to enjoy the sunshine, I suppose. So, what did you just give me a brief of what you said about Mbeumo, just so I can react to it, Adam, and discuss it?
Yes. So I said, like, we put in, was it a 45 million plus 8? Was it add-ons, something like that? I think that was kind of the rumor. So we're starting a bit lower. They're looking for a similar fee to Cunha's. So the rumor, I think, in the reports going around is they want 50 million guaranteed, plus maybe 10 million in add-ons. But that's where the negotiations come, and they're going to hopefully meet in the middle. I think it'll probably be somewhere around 50 to 55. I think, do you take 55 like on the negotiation table, like, you know, that it's flat fee 55, save 5 million there, maybe on potential add-ons there. But it's good to see that we're actually reacting very fast, like just movement happening right away, because like for years it was just like, you know, we'd be dragging our heels through the sand, it would be.
Yeah.
So I think he's a really good player to have, very versatile as well, and he can play wing back as well.
I mean, he can play everywhere. Yes. He is a chameleon, and I think we definitely need chameleons in those inside 10 roles. And Cunha, actually, there was the Athletic put something out. There was like a comparison. Like, you know, you see those like spider, not spider diagrams, but you'll know what I mean. It's got like, it's like a circle. You used to get on Pro Evo. One, I don't know what the specific word for him is, but and it was literally identical, both of them pretty much. It's scary how identical it was, but it's clear the type of players that he wants in those positions. And I think because there is such a comparison with Cunha, what you're seeing from Brentford at the minute is they're chucking out that they might want a similar price to Cunha. So they've just seen United pay, you know, 62.5 million, the release clause, I think it was for Matheus Cunha.
Yeah.
So would that be okay for them to ask for that? Or do you think that'd be logical, considering the season Mbeumo's just had, and they're the same age as well?
I think you have to look at it from their point of view as well. Like, he's been their star this year as well.
Carried him with
and you're like, here, look, they're like, you have that money to spend. We know you have it, so we're going to start. They're going to start high, and I'm actually shocked they haven't started at a bit of a higher price as well. So like, it will be talked down. Like, they know they're not showing, I suppose, their hand yet. It's a poker match right now, so we'll wait and see. It'll be agreed. Hopefully it's soon. Negotiations happen fast, but it'll be met in the middle.
Yeah, fingers crossed. What do we think, people? Let's have a look at the comments section, shall we? Okay, right. Afternoon in advance. Which ones have you read out? So don't read out the same ones. Sorry. Where did you get up to?
I just read the first two.
First two, so My Damn United, right? Okay, so we got My Damn United. Loads of members in the chat as well, which is really nice to see. If you are a member, we did drop a video on MBUEMO yesterday or the day before. I'm losing track of time at the minute, but hopefully you enjoyed that video. That'll be out for regular viewers tomorrow, it should be. Arsenal and Newcastle sabotaging the stream. That's from a random guy. Pink Lady Apple Nick loves Adam. Because the Discord shows a pink light. Right, I'm with you.
Yeah.
It's all right, miles away. Who do you guys hope wins tonight, Spain or France? I have to be honest, I didn't even know they was playing. I knew Portugal beat Germany last night, right? I think Bruno had a pretty good performance. But yeah, go on. Who do you reckon?
There's all word around this, Yamal and Dembele. It's like, it's just the Ballon d'Or decider. This is all the word now.
Oh, right, okay.
But they're just glorified friendlies at this point. I think Spain, France haven't really impressed me in quite a bit of time recently. They haven't, so I think Spain will do it.
Yeah, I don't know. That's really tough final, isn't it? I don't know. For a flip a fucking coin, I'd say. Well, I thought Portugal are through. So is Spain or France, is this the other semis?
I honestly, the Nations League.
Like,
I'm so
to be honest,
clueless with it.
I'm sorry to be so blunt, MXR, but the Nations League, I couldn't give a bollocks about it. I genuinely couldn't. I just think it's another money-making scheme. But if you're asking me between Spain or France, I would probably agree with Adam. I think Spain. Just you look at them in the Euros, how they played, they was unbelievable, weren't they? So, yeah, I would probably lean towards them. Gamer TV, my understanding is that Gyökeres would be very keen on a move to United. I'll talk about that in a second. T2 years old saying MBUEMO ticks every box for Amarin's system. 60 million is high considering he only has a year left, but we'd struggle to find a more perfect player for the system. He has a year left, but team has an option to extend for a further. Yeah, I read that as well. And Ablez says Cunha and Mbeumo were the two most important signings. Gyökeres would be amazing, but there are other strikers if we can't get him. I really like Mbeumo as a player, I have to admit. And I think between him, Cunha and Mbeumo, I think they have 50 goal involvements or close to that, which is like, fucking hell, you think that's such an upgrade on our attack at the minute. It's incredible. But I do really like him as a player, and I think 60 million in today's market, considering what other players have gone for. You look at Doku, who's gone for 60. You look at Antony Gordon, who's a winger, who's gone for 60. And Mbeumo, I think, is better than both of them at this current stage. So even if it goes, you've got to do 50 plus 10, I'm absolutely fine with that. I don't really have a problem. Are you surprised how swift United are moving in the market, Adam? Because it's a bit, we're in like uncharted territories here, aren't we?
You see, I think it's a case that they probably had to because there's so much unrest in the fan base after the season that we just had. So they're trying to make a statement, but they also, I think, realise Ruben Amorim has said he needs the players in now. He needs them in early just to work on the style of play. That's why I know we talked in the past before about Ten Hag signings coming in, like they're used to his system, all this, but it just didn't work out. But when you have players who we have are used to a back four, completely different system, they need the time to get used to it. And they need like the pre-season kind of. I know they're going to. Did they even get a break this year? Actually, that's like. Don't
feel like it does. It feels like you've got like the Club World Cup. There's a mini transfer window, and then you've got the Nations League that's ongoing at the minute, and then obviously pre-season starts usually July, doesn't it? Like start of July, I think. Yeah. When the fuck did he? Like Bruno, for example, played last night.
Exactly.
When? Do you know what I mean?
When did they get arrested? I know he's one of the. He is one of these players, like he'll run himself into the ground. And that's what I kind of worry about because, like, I'm not comparing him to Wayne Rooney and that, but Wayne Rooney covered every blade of grass on the pitch and it kind of forced him into, like, his level dropped considerably once he hit, like, 30, around 30, the age of 30, I think he had picked. Yeah. Exactly. So that's kind of the worry about these players who keep running, and then they're adding more and more games, more and more of these, like, I suppose, glorified friendlies, especially international football. So I don't think it's a good thing for the players. And like the players have come out and said it. Rafa Varane retired early, considering his age as well.
Yeah.
And he ran himself into the ground. He did, and one of his complaints was all this extra games, but. Look, I think it's a good thing to get our business done early. I just want to see it. Like, fans have been restless to have, and they want to see, like, we need to, I suppose, the team is with deep rot, and we need to get that rot out, and they need to bring in new players. And especially in the front line, scoring goals was our issue all year. And we've now brought in, I've seen two players who, I know Mbeuemo hasn't been agreed, but if it does go through, we've brought in a second player alongside Cunha who actually overperformed his XG. And like when you look at Garnacho, Hoyland and that, theirs was horrendous. So you're bringing in an extra 50 goals.
Garnacho had the worst conversion rate, or one of the worst conversion rates in the league. I think he had close to 100 shots and scored 5 or 6 goals. So 5-6% shot conversion.
How many one-on-ones did he miss? I know there's been multiple times.
Bad. So bad. And it's just actually getting players who suit, like, a lot of people complain about Amorim because it's like, well, he needs really specific players and he's not willing to kind of, be a little bit flexible, and some people criticise him from that. And I understand it because sometimes when you're watching the games that we're watching towards the end of the season, it is a little bit like, can we not just switch up a little bit, try and get some points and, get some kind of positivity in the team? But he's obviously very firm in how he wants to play, and he's identified these people. And I absolutely agree with both of them on either side. If you get a killer number 9, which we'll speak about in a minute, that attack should be cooking. I said you should be hitting top 6. If you've got Ahmad, Bruno, Gyokeres, Cunha, and then Mbeumo in your team, and you're not challenging their top 6 with the amount of goals that are in there and assists and stuff. What else, But I think it's interesting that you mention Wayne Rooney, because I went on after Bruni. I'm saying Bruno and Rooney there. After Bruno came out, it's quite a good name, that, isn't it? After he came out and said that he weren't going to Saudi, I went on BBC Radio Manchester, and one of the lads brought up a really good point about Rooney when we was in that situation where we needed to give him a contract or he was going to leave the club, and we ended up giving it him.
That's
and then he ended up,
was it?
Yeah, and then he ended up playing in midfield for like the next kind of 4 years or 5 years or whatever it was. And then it was kind of like, it didn't really work out. But you got this dynamic with Bruno at the minute where it's like, what, in your opinion, where do you think his best position is? Because I don't think he's a natural suit to the system personally. And if you bring in Mbeumo or Cunha, you would expect then Bruno to have a regular role in the midfield, right?
Exactly, yeah. And we mentioned this the last day when all the talks were about him possibly going. Like, is he a natural fit in the system? And he really isn't. Like, and we're kind of looking for, I suppose, after looking at that PSG game, you need those sort of players in midfield, like, quick passing and all this. He is, don't get me wrong, he will cover every blade of grass. He's a good passer of the ball, but he does give it away a good bit. But that's what you get from a natural creator. And when you have a two men in midfield, you can't be giving away the ball as much. You can't. So will it be a point where he is going to go a bit deeper, but he's not going to be as creative? So his output isn't going to be as much. That people have defended was his output, because he creates and he scores goals. So will we be seeing a side where we're taking away from that? But the manager has come out and said he wants him. So he must have a plan for him. And Bruno is like a top professional, so I can't see him complaining wherever he goes, but wherever he goes in the team, I mean. But look, I'm happy he's staying. Like, I want to see these players stay, but we got to wait and see. Next season's a big kind of test. Like, could we be left with, we should have sold him, could have gotten a lot there, could have gotten maybe 2 midfilders for the price there.
Yeah,
but
the fact he's turned down 700k a week, Adam, it speaks volumes of his kind of personality and where he's at in life.
And when we're at our worst, he could easily jump ship. Like, he's all for 5 years here. Like, you wouldn't blame him for going away, taking one last big, I suppose, payday, and you could even return to sporting for a while. Like, that's usually what a case of these players happen. I wouldn't blame him, and I wouldn't even be angry.
Yeah,
but he's like, his words, it's nice to actually hear that we have a player who wants to be here, who wants to bring us back, and you want to hear that from your captain.
Yeah, absolutely. Leadership on and off the pitch, as always. And just to add to that as well, there was someone mentioned this that I thought was a really good point, that I think Bruno as a player, and you'll know it as well as me, when you watch him on the pitch, he overdoes it sometimes. He tries doing too much, so he'll be defending at points when someone isn't filling in. He'll be trying to be the guy who's pushing the envelope with the assist and the goals, because he knows he's the only one, especially last season, who's going to stand up and do that. And one of the lads on the radio mentioned to me, said, do you think maybe with Mbeumo and Cunha coming in, if they start providing a lot of goals and assists and the number 9 starts scoring, will he have to force it as much? Will he have to be as ill-disciplined in terms of his positioning? Do you think that could be a factor in it?
Yeah. It could be, yeah, because he's going to have to be a bit more disciplined. Cunha is a really good creator as well. So maybe we're going to be, relying on him a wee bit less. And I think more that balanced. Could be a good thing for Bruno. Yeah, more balanced. Because for the last 5 years, it's just everything's gone through him. He hasn't had that kind of player, to help him alongside him. I suppose when you look at it, who was that creator who can pick a pass, score a goal like that? Like, I know he didn't have a good time, but probably that midfielder that would have been beside him would have been Pogba at the time that fit that bill. But like, it didn't work out. He haven't had another player similar to that has come in that can take the creativity a wee bit away from him, like not as much pressure on him. So maybe he won't be doing these, as I call them, Hail Mary passes, these, quick passing that gives the ball away, and then where, we can be caught in the break.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good thing. It could be for Bruno.
I agree. Right, let's. I mean, there's so many things to discuss. But there's a lot of really good. Yeah, there's loads of really good comments as well. So I don't want to miss them. Let's go back. I believe you say Cunha and Bruno are two. Oh, sorry, I already read that out. Random saying I would argue spending 120 million pounds on Cunha and MBUEMO is the best way we could have spent that money. They would both start for every team in the Premier League and both in their prime. I couldn't agree more. Macmillan saying 50 mil base fee with 5 million achievable add-ons gets MBUEMO. That 45 bid was the only amount we really bid, and those 10 add-ons were unreasonable. Add-ons were to test the waters. 50 plus 5 gets done. Do you remember that with Brentford? So Everton was saying they wanted 70, and we was like, we'll give you 45. Yeah. And then he was like, no, we want 70. And then we went, we'll give you 50. And then it was kind of like, do these conversations not happen? I don't get how negotiations work. They don't go into the thing and they'll go, right, what is your price? And they go, we want 70. And then they go back to the drawing board and then they bid 45. Like, out of, do you know what I mean? Like, has it not been communication? Is there something missing here? Like, you know what they want. So you either say, right, I'm going to pay it or don't pay it. I don't know. I find the whole kind of negotiating process a bit weird. I don't know what you think.
It is. It's almost like playing hard to get, isn't it? Like, is it specific people in the club that, go with another person in the club to the other club, and then they're like, okay, this is what we're willing to offer. This is our offer here. And they're like, no, we want this. And they have to be like, it's almost like, lawyers when they're saying like trying to meet a settlement. It's almost like, okay, this is what you're willing to do. This is what my client's willing to do. This is what my client's willing to do. And they have to meet in the middle. And sometimes they don't. Sometimes teams are like, no, this is what we want. We want this. And that, I think, has worked out poorly in Everton's side now. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't think he's an awful player. But, like, 50, like... And that's,
you won't pay 70 for Brentford.
No,
we don't.
For
No chance.
PSR as well, the trouble they've been in recently as well. Like, that could be huge, because is he homegrown, isn't he?
So, yeah, I think... So, I'm pretty sure he came through the academy. He went on loan to Carlisle, Blackburn, PSV, and then they started playing him regular. I think that was his trajectory. I don't know if they actually bought him maybe from a Carlisle, like when he was really, really young, and then... Do you know what I mean? And I always think when I see that he played for them, I was like, sure... Defenders were made in... What's the advert now? Have you seen the Army advert? Made in Carlisle.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But, I can't remember what the advert was. People know what I'm alluding to anyway, so the joke will still land. But, yeah, you're not getting 70 mil for him now. And I think the interest has gone down. And you look at someone we just bought in Aiden Heaven. I'm not saying by any stretch of imagination he's a better centre-back, but you look at the potential. and the profile of what he offers for £1 million, you're like, do you really need to spend £70 million on centre backs?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think you need to. So yeah. Sorry, I need to read out more comments because there's loads. Dan Owens is saying, have you seen the news? United are open to offering Sancho and money for Kudus from West Ham. I like Kudus. I think he's a very good dribbler. I think he's the best dribbler in the league, actually, on metrics. But efficiency in front of goal and consistency in the game, I don't know. Kudus had him? Yes or no? Hello? Oh, I thought he's gone then.
It means getting rid of Sancho. Yeah. If it means getting rid of Sancho, I'll honestly take anything. I just don't want him near the club. Like, that attitude, we're trying to get, distance ourselves from that. So I take whatever, honestly. Yeah, have another player in. Will he match that attitude that Sancho has? I doubt it.
Yeah,
I just don't like Sancho that much. Just the whole attitude.
I don't think anyone does.
And
I think
it's
Sorry, I was going to say, I think the whole fan base are absolutely with you on that. Not anyone who's been in this chat community, people online who comment on our posts and stuff, everyone is in unison about fucking Jadon Sancho, that they just cannot be bothered with this attitude and this freedom. And if you really wanted freedom, why wouldn't you take a wage cut to join Chelsea then? Why could you not agree on going down to 150k or whatever it was that he was offering? It's bullshit. You're in it for the money, for the fame, for the stats, like, you know what I mean? So we've got that problem to deal with, and I'm sure we'll deal with that somewhere down the line. My Damn United saying, Athletic lads have come out with an explanation of how we're getting past PSR to make moves this summer. They've basically transferred our losses to one of our many subsidiary companies. Again, we'll get into PSR towards the end. We've still got a few things to get through. I'll go back to the comments because we have got a lot. We not even spoke about Gyökeres yet. So Ben Jacobs and James from the Muppeteers, who's going to be on tonight, by the way, so we're going to pick his brain about this, have both reported that Gyökeres will be very keen on joining Man United if the club decide to go in for him. There's an expectation that Victor Gyökeres is waiting for United. He's the main target for the striker position. This will happen once they finalise other deals and make sales. But again, Adam, this was briefed frequently that he wanted Champions League football. Do you think perhaps maybe the fact of Bruno staying, the signings that we look to make in MBUEMO and Cunha and things like this, do you think that could tempt him?
Yeah, Shreya's kind of touched on it, I think, the last day. Did he mention it, I think, in the group chat? How we're showing a bit of ambition there, and he's seeing the sort of players that, you know, would be around him. He'd be the main man up front, and you have these two players who are known for scoring and creating goals either side of him. And then you have Bruno behind as well. Like, he knows he'll get chances in that team. Like, where before maybe Hoyland, he wasn't getting as many chances. He was looking there, I don't know if I want to go there. Like, I'm going to be feeding on scraps. But it feels like if he came in now, we create so many chances and he'd score so many goals. He's the proper build as well. Like, I haven't seen, like, for the last couple of years when I've been saying there's no natural striker like in the market. It's hard to find one, but he ticks every box. He's kind of that. I'm not comparing him to Haaland in a way, but I mean, like, you know, the build,
physical
the
stature.
height. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that suits the Premier League to a T. And he's fast as well. People forget that. He has a good bit of pace as well. He's the perfect striker, the person that we need right now. And hearing all these reports, I think, is a good thing. So I think he's maybe changed his mind there. I think maybe Ruben Amorim's been in his ear a bit, saying, look, this is the project. We're getting these two players in, and that's just the start of it. So a competent keeper then, and I think he'd be happy. Like, it's 1 year, okay, 1 year without European football. But if you bring in the right players, you know, they gel right. Like, I know it's a bit diluted saying, but 1 game a week.
I'm with you.
If you take every game is a final, take it 1 game at a time, you could be pushing up there, possibly challenging. If you, like, 100%. I know it might sound a bit crazy, but 1 game, like, it does help. It will help massively.
To be honest, Adam, I think if he isn't challenging with the Villas and the Chelseas of this world, with those players that we're talking about, I think you should be sacked. Because they are all top quality players. If you bring in a really good midfielder, let's say from midfield onwards, right? Because I think we've got decent centre backs. But from midfield onwards, if you have Dorgu, Bruno, a really good 8, Ahmad, Mbeumo, Gyökeres, and Cunha, if you're not challenging their top 6, you need to sack that manager immediately. Like, we speak about the goals that Mbeumo and Cunha adds, that's 35 to 40. Gyökeres this season's 54 goals and 13 assists in all competitions. You are adding 100 goals pretty much to the team. And that is a lot. We only scored 44 as a team this season. You know?
Well,
so,
like, that's a big difference. And you're talking about 3 players compared to the entire team.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like, that's a lot of goals, and that's what our issue was, and I'm glad that they've identified that, because so many years we've been pulling our hair out saying goals have been the issue here. Then I remember it was defenders. We didn't have a good defense. We have a good defense now. I think the only issue is the goalkeeper, honestly. I think that, but I know we'll probably get into that a wee bit later. I think you mentioned it in one of the topics, just briefly, we can touch on it even. But, like, we've sorted our centre-backs out. I think possibly 1 full-back I think we should be looking at, because I think Luke Shaw we should be trying to, you know, push out now. I think, that's going to be difficult. But I think we're pretty well stacked in defence. Just, you know, attack has been our issue now. It seems to be, you know, it flips every time. We can never get it just right.
No.
But it feels like they could potentially get it this time.
Absolutely.
And they have the opportunity.
This could be our Goldilocks season. Just the last thing on Gyökeres. What do you make of him as an actual player in the Premier League? I know you said you think he would suit the Premier League, but the transition from the Portuguese league to the Prem, and I know there are midfielders and defenders. City have had a couple, we've had a couple, and it's worked out well. But Darwin Núñez, for example, right? There was a lot of hype around Darwin Núñez when he was at Benfica. The numbers he was putting up, everyone's going on about his speed, yada yada. And then you see his transformation to Liverpool. £80 million didn't quite work out. Now, obviously, we're playing less for Gyökeres, but any worry in your mind that he wouldn't, or are you absolutely nailed on? You think, nah, he'll definitely suit the Prem?
I think one of the issues with Darwin Núñez, like I know we were linked with him at the time as well, is everything in Liverpool just went down through Salah. Everything was through Salah. Don't get me wrong, like he's the best player in the league, but like that was the issue. He could have come into any other kind of top 6 team as well, and I think he would have done a better job than he did at Liverpool. That's nothing against him. It's confidence as well for a striker. Look at Højlund. If Højlund was I remember he had that run of games was in his first season he was struggling a bit, but then he started hitting the back of the net, and it's all confidence with a striker. And the more I kind of watched Darwin Núñez, they don't create much chances for him. They don't. Like I know they're a great team. Don't get me wrong, especially when Klopp was there and that. But I never saw him get the sort of chances that I think we create for Gyökeres. I think he's a different sort of build, different style of player, and I don't think he'll have any issue. I think he'll be like a duck to water coming to the Premier League. And like there's all this talks about I know it's only the Portuguese league, but like as you pointed out as well, it's actually been more of a hit rate than say the Eredivisie as well. It's been a better kind of league to come and switch over. So I think there's been more hits from Portugal than there's been misses.
I was about to say, think about our history with players from Sporting as well. Nane, Cristiano Ronaldo, Bruno Fernandes. Like it's quite good evidence to go off to say, this one might work out. I do like him. I mean, Dan Errington's asking in the chat if you could choose Gyökeres or Sesko, who would you go for? Gyökeres, right? Experience, stature. Yeah. And I love Sesko as a player. I think he's going to be a super talented player. But for what United need at the minute, it is that experience in it. We don't need another raw player who needs, kind of adapting. We need the finished one who's going to come in and go, give me the fucking ball and demand it. Because right now, when Højlund plays in a team, he doesn't have that. He can't command it because when you do give him the ball, as you've seen against Chelsea in one of the last games, he's fucking falling over his own feet. He's running into players. So the attackers are just like, I don't want to give it you. If you've got someone who's like banging it in every time, you're much more likely to, you know what, I'll actually put a cross in for him. I'll put it into the back post. And players like MBUEMO
play as well. Yeah. So his hold-up play is one thing. Like I've watched Højlund for 2 years now struggle to actually hold up the play as well. So having a player who's strong, who can compete with these centre-backs, it sounds weird, okay? But the fella is built. We've seen it. He's proper. Like he's a tank, he is. And I know there's all this talks about he struggled kind of in England for a bit as well. But I think he's kind of reached that level now where if he does come back, I don't think he's going to have any issue.
No.
It's a different ball game, but we've seen like he dominated Man City in that game.
He did dominate them. Yeah. No, do you know what? He ran him ragged, didn't he? You think about every time it got played into him, because obviously City likes to press high up the pitch. It was just him and Trincao were just like, boom, sit a bit. Bullying and pushing Akanji off the ball. I can't remember who it was playing at the back. But yeah, that was the one game for me. Because obviously, let's not pretend everyone watches Sporting week in, week out, because we don't. The Portuguese league's a bit nah. But in the Champions League, whenever they played, it was like, and it's just such a seamless transition because he's worked with the coach before. Amrin knows this kid inside. He made him what he is today. You know, he's come from like Coventry, built up at Sporting and created this monster, and he knows him perfectly. So I don't think there will be a situation where it'll come in and be like, oh, I'm not entirely sure. I think it would be a hit, and I'm getting more and more excited about it now the more I talk about it. I hope we can get someone like him, because if it's not him, think Adam, initially it was going to be Delap. Delap's gone Chelsea now, that's been confirmed. So
that could be a blessing in disguise, actually missing out on that. And that could have been like another target. We want that, but sometimes like you miss out and you get something better.
I'm surprised he went there. I know they've got Champions League football, so I understand that. But is he going to be starting week in, week out for them? With Jackson there?
I don't think he is. No. That's the thing. He's come up from... something that didn't really it kind of irked me as well was like, I want you football. We're just fucking relegated.
Yeah.
You were just relegated.
You cheeky bastard. How can you demand Champions League football when it's your first season in the Prem? With Ipswich, and you're saying you want European football, like fuck it, get out of it. That
and then you have Mbeuemo and Konya then saying, "I want to go to Man United." Like, there's a clip going around. Like, this is Manchester United we're talking about. Yeah, I think you've seen it. It's as Mourinho put it. What was it? Football heritage.
Yeah. It's true.
But you want them players.
I am quite surprised that we have been able to attract him, to be honest, because I thought people would be looking at United in a minute and they'd be like, that is a sinking ship. I do not want to go on there. But there's a lot of players, and managers included as well, who look at it and go, I'll be the one to turn it around. Remember when we signed Casemiro, for example? And I remember the quote that came out from him just before the Brentford game. He was like, I will sort this problem. And to be fair to him, the first season, he was fucking incredible.
Yeah.
And then the second and third, not so much under Eric Ten Hag. But yeah, look, this whole kind of rebuild, it's going to start with outgoings as well, Adam. Like, we've got a lot of players on the books in Sancho and Rashford and a load of others as well. But it also starts with Antony with Real Betis. So James Ducker from the Telegraph's reporting that Real Betis are now interested in turning Antony's loan into a permanent deal after first initial kind of early signs that they couldn't be able to afford it. What do we do with this situation? Do you think any other team will come in for him based on the season he's just had with Real Betis? Or do you think they'll be the only buyers in your opinion?
I think there was a rumor going around about Atletico Madrid as well. I don't know down. So, like, if two teams are there in Spain, I think he's used to the league now. He's gone over there and he actually performs well there. He suits it. Yeah. So, like, he should be looking at life in Spain. The only thing is, like, do you feel bad, like, staying with this team? This team put a lot of trust in you, and then you're going to another team in that league. Obviously, it's a bigger club. It is. You're talking about a team that are going to be in Europe, who have had a decent, European history in the last 10 years. They've gotten quite far in the Champions League. I think they'll offer something, even if it's like, over the course of a couple of years, pay X amount, like it's installments. Like, this is usually the case anyway. I think they should be looking at that because he's their star. They brought him in January and he lit up their season. He did. And the goals he was scoring them against De Gea as well, like with his weak foot. Like, you wouldn't have believed the stuff. And so a lot of it is confidence from him as well. But I think you should be looking, you have to ship him out. He's probably the best of the lot that we have there that we can actually make money on. I don't think you should be looking. I know we kind of underprice our players we have before, like McTominay. Who else did we let go there recently that was a bit underpriced? Yeah, last year I think it was.
I think who did we sell?
Wan-Bissaka as well. We sold for
15 million. So
yeah, like, you're looking there, he was their player of the year then.
I know, he's just got West Ham. Yeah, he's had a pretty good season for them. It seems like who else has just left as well and had a really good season? Well, Rashford was alright for Villa when he went there before he got injured. He was doing well. It's not any player that, apart from Sancho, which, I mean, that's a whole different thing here. But yeah, I agree. Like, it feels like these players just need to leave the nest and need to just kind of do their own thing there. And if teams like you say, like Atletico Madrid, I think Juventus was another club that was linked with them as well.
Yeah, I saw something like that.
Just generate that. I just don't know how much we're going to get for him. I don't know what he is worth now, his value, to be honest.
It's hard to say because, like, before the loan spell, you're looking at it, 15, 20 million player. He doesn't. And now he's performed at this level. He's scoring bangers, free kick. Could you get 35 to 40? Like,
I think
try and get maybe half of what we paid. I think that's actually good business from us, considering how bad it went.
Yeah. And it just goes to show, doesn't it, like a loan move can really, like, adjust the price. Same thing with Rashford as well. Like, Rashford's price would have gone back up because of how he's played. I'm just looking at his age. He's still quite young in here, Antony. 25, which isn't too bad. It's the same age as Cunha, for example. But now is the time to cash in it. So I think 35, 40 million, if you can recoup that, which is half of what you got, we paid 80 million for him, or 85, whatever it was. Just doesn't look great on the PSR books, does it? At all?
No. That's the only thing, boss. I suppose if you're selling the likes of, say, Rashford, that's going to throw it back up as well. Absolutely. So any homegrown players, that's
Alvaro,
sort of
I think, as well has. I think if Madrid pay for Alvaro, which is linked with
certain percentage,
certain percentage. So if they buy him for 50 million, I think we get 15 or 20, which is like really, really good. I don't know if Greenwood's going to get a move this season, but we have like a massive chunk on that in terms of, I think it's like 40%, 50% on his sell-on thing. So that could be something to watch out for. Like, they've got streams of money there from various different players. And we'll get into the PSR after we spoke about Jason Wilcox, but I think that's interesting as well to see like cash injections and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, exactly. and this is, I think Chelsea have done it before, and that's why they can spend so much. I know they've kind of broken a bit more. Their whole model was like, get these players in, so many of them, send them out, sell them, but then have from sales they'll get a percentage of. And it's been smart business. I think we should be doing that because we have a really good academy and we haven't really made the most of it. Like, I know some players it hasn't worked out, but like, so say like who's had a decent enough spell after leaving us, and trying to think there, but I don't think we had much of a sell-on clause.
Players who left, we had a good sell-on. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, like we never really done it before. We never
introduced them, to be honest. Like, it was something that was kind of a new world to us when Ineos first came in, and then we did that thing with Greenwood where it was like, okay, 40%, and then Alvaro, and then all these. Everyone's like, it was like a new thing. Everyone's like, what? Why have we never done this before on deals? Like, because just by doing those kind of things, you can add up like to 100 million after a few years.
Exactly.
Just weird, innit? It doesn't make sense. And if team really desperately wants a player, they will take the sell-on clause because they'll be like, we get 5 years of him anyway. If we have to take a little cut when we sell him, and we think he's going to have the trajectory that we think, it's worth the risk doing that. Yeah. So it's just having competent people in charge. And I think, Adam, that starts with Jason Wilcox, who you have to admit in a minute, with the comparison from John Murtaugh, Richard Arnold to, Jason Wilcox and Omar, there has been a difference. Like, people will criticise Ineos for things that they've done, sacking people and all other things, stadium charges, etc., which I absolutely agree with. But we're talking specifically about football operations on the pitch and recruitment and scouting. There does seem a level improvement there, and that has led to Jason Wilcox being named the new director of football, a position of increased seniority from the technical director title he initially arrived with in April 2024. That was being reported from Laurie Whitwell, and also Dave Brailsford is stepping down. I mean, I don't know what the fuck he did anyway. I never heard anything. Just seemed like he was like Jim's best mate floating about. But happy with what you've seen from him and Ineos so far in terms of, you think of the shrewd signings, the youth players that they're bringing through, etc.
Yeah, I've kind of like the model that they've adapted, and now so far with the start, they seem to be like, okay, get the players in early. That's the model that we've wanted to see. We've been crying out for so long for that sort of model, and it makes you wonder, like, in the past, what did we do? Because like, we used to penny pinch, but then we'd end up overpaying at the end, and now we're actually going into negotiations and we're actually getting the deal done. And we're getting them done early. So what the fuck did we do in the past?
How badly it was run.
It is. So seeing these sort of players, you've had Kone, Heaven, and Shido. And they've come in for, honestly, I think it's less than 5 million.
Yeah, Heaven was, I think, about 1 million. Shido the same. Yeah. I mean, Sekou Kone weren't even that much, I don't think. I'm not entirely sure, but all of them look like really promising players as well. You think if they hit the roof that you expect them to, how much are they going to be worth in the next 5-6 years or whatever?
Exactly. And you have a director of football there who, is known for kind of identifying that and kind of developing it through the youth system as well. The only kind of worry I had was that he had eyes for Delap, but I'm glad they've moved on from that. He's gone. And it seems like they're like, okay, we want to get the ready-made player. And I think it's okay to have those sort of players, like, up and coming, buying them the whole time, but you're not going to compete for anything. You're going to fall very far back when other teams are getting the ready-made product. So it seems like he sees that and he's like, okay, I want to move on to that. I want that next. But having him in a sort of position now where he can be calling the shots, the direction, where the football is going in the football club, I think he's the right sort of man to have that. The only thing I didn't like recently with Ineos is there seems to be a lot of structural change, like, as you said, Brailsford, and you had
Jean-Claude.
Jean-Claude
kind of moved on. I was going to say Jean-Claude Van Damme then. Jean-Claude Blanc, I think it was. He moved on. Dan Ashworth, that situation.
Dan Ashworth as well. Like, who would have thought a year ago as well, between Paul Mitchell and Dan Ashworth, that they'd be gone like that, and like they were the hottest topic in nearly,
how much hype and conversation was built around him, and then both of them like, no, they're fucked off, and none of them have got a job at the minute because there was a disagreement between Paul Mitchell and Eddie Howe, and then obviously they weren't working as fluid, and some reports that they wanted Southgate, and I don't know what else, a lot of other shit, but I think sometimes this happened at Nice. I think when they first initially went in there was a fucking like headless chickens around the board, like trying to get the right people in the right places. There's a few managers that were sacked, and a few people kind of lost their jobs and stuff. But I suppose if they want to get it right, if they want it to be fluid, I think obviously Omar Barada has worked with Wilcox before, right, at Man City, and they've got a proven track record of bringing through talents like Foden, Cole Palmer, and there's a load of others as well. I can't think off the top of my head. Morgan Rogers was another one as well, I think, who Wilcox worked with. Tyler Diblin, players like this. Like they can identify talent and they know. And Omar Barado is a man who I think he speaks 7 different languages. He's got connections all around the world. Like there is just a level of difference and increased. And I think if you
even class, the sort of like Omar Barada, he's brought this sort of classy, a football man he is. Yeah. He's not an investment banker, is he? And that's the difference. You have, I think, the right people in the right positions in the club, and we've been crying out for that for years. And we have it. So hopefully we'll see a bit of stability now. I know a lot of redundancies, like, going around, so it's not nice. Is it redundancies? Would it be?
Yeah,
yeah.
So I never agree with things like that. But if you actually look at the amount of staff that United had on the books, in comparison to other clubs, it was a lot, and that's again due to mismanagement of the last 10 years. Like it didn't seem that anyone really paid attention to these close details. And I'm not saying by any stretch of the imagination you should treat United like a business, because there was a lot of good people working there. But when you look at the difference in comparison to other clubs, like we are just doing things now that other clubs are doing. But when we do it now, it looks so bad because we let it go on for so long, So,
exactly.
Yeah. Right, let me just get into the comments and then we'll touch on the PSR thing, which is the last, and the kit as well. Sorry, so much things to talk about. My Dad United saying just free loan for Sancho, full wages on loan club, though he fancies Saudi, we can cash a profit then. I'm praying that Saudi come in for Jadon Sancho. I mean, please, for the love of God. Ben Jacobs says something between Napoli, 40 mil valuation of Ghana, and United 60 mil valuation of Ghana gets the deal done, 50 mil plus add-ons. That would be acceptable with a sell-on clause triggered if he returns to the Prem to help save any potential blushes. Abli saying not getting Delap was a blessing. Interesting to see that perspective now. I quite like Delap personally as a player, but whether he was ready to, it might not have been the right move for him to go to United at this point in his career. Brailsford was behind the scenes. He was doing the in-house overseeing, was literally consulting Wilcox, Barada, Vivell, the new Carrington upgrade. Wasn't an in-your-face job, stuff we don't hear. Exactly. Like, I weren't slagging him off. It was just like, there was never anything really reported about him in terms of what he was doing. It just felt like he was a floating face. It was kind of just, you know what I mean? But I appreciate he might have been doing things. I have no idea. Random guy who's been a member for 11 months, nearly a year. Big up to you, sir. Appreciate the support for a long, long time, and all the other members in the chat as well. Genuinely appreciate a lot of yous, and also you guys as well who give out and gift memberships and stuff, so people can watch the content. If you haven't watched it, and MBUEMO video, please do go check it out and let us know your thoughts on that video. That'll be dropping for regular viewers tomorrow. But if you want to become a member, click the join button, notification bell, £2-3 a month, just supports the channel. And let's Adam get a meal deal. So happy days. Okay. Let's speak about meal deals and saving money. Let's go on to PSR, Adam. So, fucking screen. Ugh. So, we had reports coming in from The Athletic, I think it was, for in regards to PSR. And this is...
It's a good chart.
Yeah, this is going to surprise a lot of people, right? Because the things that have been reported and how negative it's been recently, you would think that we were just dying as a club, and it does certainly feel like that, doesn't it? So I understand people's feelings. But so we are 5th, Adam, currently in the, I don't know if you'd call it the fucking PSR rankings. I mean, I have no idea. I don't know what you want to call it. It's not like a league, but we are 5th in there. And I think let's just have a look at the other teams who are near the top. So we've got Chelsea, Brighton, Man City, Tottenham, then us. So 141 million in the green at the minute. Does that surprise you?
It honestly does, but I was reading there that it was the cash injection from Ineos that kind of saved us, which is the kind of big breaking news. So if they had not sold, where would we be? Like, we'd be in very big trouble. But I'm actually surprised that it, like, given the reports of everything through the year, like what's happening behind the scenes as well, I'm actually surprised that we're that much in the green. Yeah, obviously we're not completely healthy. Like, like, I don't know how Chelsea are there. They obviously hand out big contracts, don't they? Your 7-8 year contracts. I think they've been getting around things. And Brighton, I kind of understand with their model, how they're a healthy kind of club, and they're at that kind of level. They seem to be progressing as well. But given that we're there, I think this is a really good graphic that's been put out, because there's been a lot of noise from, is it Aston Villa fans and Newcastle fans recently, especially on social media, saying, how are we getting these deals done? And they're losing their heads. They are. But this just shows you, this is how we kind of gotten around it. And does it restart? It restarts, is it in July? The end of June is the end of the PSR year, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. And so many years to focus on tax year, PSR year, quarterly sub fucking performances. I really listen to people like Kieran Maguire on these kind of things. I think he's incredible with financial things. But just some of the teams that you look at, Villa near the bottom there, like, you didn't realise how bad Villa's situation was. They are going to need to sell some players by the looks of it. I mean, 15 million in the red. Again, I'm not an expert, but I would even try to tempt them with a couple of players if they need to sell. You know, maybe Morgan Rogers or Tillemans or a Kamara, or, you know, you can go through that squad.
That's why Martinez has been, you know, linked with a move away.
Yes, anti-United. Would you take him?
Yeah. You know, I think I would. Like, given, like, you know, we know that they need money, and is there going to be as many teams that are coming in, you know, for him at the moment? I think he's not linked with Arsenal as well, is he?
I don't know. They won't get rid of David Raya. No chance.
No, they won't. He's had a decent, that he's come in. So I think, look, he's had a bad year. He hasn't had a great year. And I think what kind of summed it up was his last game, which was against us there. But I remember, if you go through my Twitter, I'm sure I've said many bad things about the guy. He's a shit stirrer, he is. And I did see this.
Shit stirrer.
He can be our shit stirrer. Yeah. Exactly. He can be your, like, we've been known as, I think we're the Red Devils. Like, we should be signing these players who are the pantomime fill-in and have a team of these people. I don't want us to be likable. I want us to be hated. That's when we were at our best. When we were hated, and like, right now we're just a laughing stock, we were. So bring in these sort of players who are the pantomime villain, and he will get a rise out of the crowd too. Like, I think he's a really, really good shot stopper. People forget he did make save of the season as well. He did. Like,
save the
he is a really
World
good
Cup
shot
winner.
stopper,
Like, the one thing with him, Adam, though, that makes me a little bit nervous. He does have that same overconfidence like Onana does. And we've seen a few mistakes from him, and I just think if with the scrutiny intensified a little bit, with more eyeballs, with more pressure, does that affect him a little bit? I don't know, but I do like him as a character. I think I know people would say he's a shithouse, and I get it, but I think look at the characters we're bringing at the minute. Cunha's known as a fiery player. Like, I would much rather have fighters on the team than people who are flaky, who you can't really trust, who will make mistakes all the time. Like, Cunha is, regardless of what people say for him, people didn't say that about Cantona, did they? They didn't go, oh, you know, obviously he drop kicks a fucking a Crystal Palace fan. But they didn't go, oh, yeah, he's got bad attitude. But look at the player that he is. Like, if they're a fighter and they've got ability, sound. Bring him this way. I'll take him. I don't know how we got onto that from PSR, but just on the PSR that you mentioned before. So Sir Jim Ratcliffe's £237 million cash injection into Man United raised United's 3-year PSR loss limit from 15 million to 105 million. Now, this is something, again, that we're going to speak to James about later on at 7 o'clock, and he will explain it much better than I tried doing, because I've absolutely butchered it. But the fact that we're in a strong position by the looks of things is great. So I just wanted to put that out there. And anyone else who has any kind of comments on that, please do let me know. Chelsea selling a parking lot to themselves got them to PSR top trumps. Didn't they buy the female team as well? I'm pretty sure.
See, there was something like that. They bought the women's team.
Yeah, something like that.
There's a lot of it. Yeah, there's a lot of playing with the books there. They are, and sometimes that can come back to haunt you. It can. As well. So I think there's a bit of dodginess there with Chelsea, with Tom Bowley coming in, doing all that, like how they can spend so much all like this. I know what I said earlier, that they have all these sell-on clauses as well, but
a lot of academy players as well.
Yeah. Like, they didn't have a massive squad.
Yeah, so I think like there's like 50 odd people in the squad or something. But it seems like Chelsea at the moment are buying players more as like business acquisitions. So, for example, they've been linked with Garnacho, and a lot of people would say, well, why do they need Garnacho? They've got Madueke, they've got Neto, they've got all these players, right? Well, they might look at Garnacho as a business commodity and say, if we buy him now for 50 million, let's say, if we can get him for that price, he keeps playing in the Prem, keeps developing, we can make 30, 40 million and flip that easily. Yep. That's how we're looking at it. From the outside looking in. Steph in the chat, big up to Steph, saying big up Nick and the Real Reds Talk Army. Villa going to sell Amadou Onana, but he'd be expensive. They bought him for 50. So, yeah, but I think someone...
Nice flop of the season.
Yeah, Adam's flop of the season. I was waiting for that. McMillan saying, no way I'm signing Martinez. He's 33. I didn't know he was 33. Is it? I know age of goalkeepers is not as
you have
bad.
To remember, we signed Van der Sar around that age as well.
Yeah,
so there's that, and he played till he's 40. And you never know, keepers can have that longevity that others don't. The only thing is we saw the kind of collapse at De Gea at that point, didn't we, when he was around that.
Tricky one. It's a tricky one. And I imagine his wages might be a little bit expensive as well. Right, for the last 5 minutes or so, because we're getting near the hour mark now, we are going to react to the third kit. So I think the majority of people have seen the home kit, which I don't know what you think, Adam. I'm not sold on it. I'm not a mega fan of it. It's a bit, yeah. And then the second kit.
The last time we've had a nice home kit? I'm trying to remember. I know we had the road, but I can't remember the last time I've gone, oh, that's a nice kit.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, going back, you're looking at it probably 08. Probably 08. 08, yeah. 08 was that, you're like, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Because it was just the minimalism in it is what made it perfect. And now I just think they overdo it. I know it's kind of a throwback, I think, is it to the Vodafone kind of kit that we had? But even then, that Vodafone kit, I really liked it. Now, it just reminds me of Van Nistelrooy.
Sorry, I'm trying to find it.
All right. There's also this side of it, Nick. Do you think, like, having a kit, being associated with success makes it more iconic, even when it's not the nicest kit?
Yeah, for sure. Because people have golden memories about it. But this one right here, honestly, is like so nostalgic.
It is.
It's so nostalgic. Isn't it? You think Ronaldo, the season that he had in it with 42 goals, Tevez, Rooney, even like Anderson, and mate, honestly,
it's just so minimalistic, but that makes it perfect.
Yeah, and I love the stripe. I've not got a name on the back of that one, but I love the stripes. Like the pinstripe it had on like the back. Yeah, that was like incredible as well. And then we've got, so this kind of segues into the third kit. So our home kit and away kit this season. The away kit looks a bit like a Parma Violet or something, I would probably say. But the third kit is basically, so I'll put this one on the screen. It is based off this, basically.
Iconic.
Yeah, like with the Canton R7. This is what he basically kung fu kicked someone in.
That's why we've got memories.
yeah, that's why people love it, because in the 90s we were so successful. And I just think in general anyway, I really need to sort that out. That looks like a mess. But in general anyway, in the 90s, like so much nostalgia in the end, we won everything almost. So people, again, like you alluded to, kind of relate to that. But it's on the screen. You've seen it yourself, Adam. What do you think of the third kit?
I love it. I think the last kit that I did, I liked, the minimalism and kind of just having the devil for a while. But the only thing that gave me the ick on it a little was a bit too cool, kind of in a way. Because I know they went with, was it the birds? They ended up just going with. But this kit, having the shield, I suppose, around the badge, having the yellow, the classic Adidas logo. I love the classic Adidas photo. And then,
well better.
Yeah. And whoever's designed this, give them a raise. They should be over our home and away kits as well. I could be wrong, but I don't think they are, because it's just night and day. It's completely different, and it's that big throwback that I think many people will want to be. They'll be running to the shop to buy that.
You can imagine the like Cunha and Mbeumo and those, Ahmad and Bruno and Gyökeres and.
Yeah, can you imagine now, Cunha, the black gloves on now, cold winter.
I'm getting excited for next season. I am getting excited for next season. I can see it.
And I actually really like the pattern, the devil in it.
Yeah. I think our third kits, we were saying before we went live, didn't we? Before, like, I've just got the other white one as well. I'm going to sort out this because that's an absolute mess. But this one, last season, the home kit and the regular kit, I feel like I'm doing like a merch sale for United. Like, the home kit and the away kit, they weren't really great. But this one, like, third kit, look at the boy on the back as well. Ahmad. Always believed in him. Yeah, the third kit seems to be really nice, don't they? I don't know.
They do.
Would they have different designers, or I don't know?
I say they do. There's probably a design team, but I don't know what team has been over us for the last while. The only thing is,
Stevie Wonder.
They are fine. Are they fining us 10 million for not making Champions League? So it's about time, okay, if we're giving them 10 million, you want to give us something good in return.
Absolutely.
So I think that's again, and this is the thing. The only thing that annoys me with it is we never really see the third kit used that much.
Nope,
it's not overly used, and I want to see that kit. That kit.
How much on average do you think?
It's sexy.
Yeah, I agree. How much on average do you think a third kit gets used? What would you say? I want to Google it now.
Oh, like as a percentage. Like, honestly, the more I see it, I think it's like less than 20%.
Oh, I thought you just said 20 games. I was like, it's definitely less than that. So, in a typical Premier League season, the third kit is used on average 12% of the time. This means that every 100 games played, the third kit is worn by a team 12 times. So, let's say a 50-game season, 6 times.
Yeah.
You're looking at. Which is, like, it needs more, doesn't it, for a kit like that and for, like, the white one?
Exactly.
I want to see him in more, man.
But I think we've seen those kits being used more, didn't we, in the past? For whatever reason. I think it's just teams have traditionally gone now with, is it the same color kind of pants and everything it is. So it's harder to kind of get, I suppose, like you have such opposite kits. Because it happened to us before, wasn't it? We had a kit, was it the grey kit, the famous grey kit that we had to change at halftime?
Yeah,
because it was clashing too much. So teams like, they're like, all the 3 kits are so polar opposites to each other that you don't get to see the third one, which is sad. Like, I'd be happy if we made that our second choice. That should be 100%. Our second choice.
Yeah, 100%. Someone at Man United needs a slap on the back of the head. Whoever the home kit maker is in away. I don't know if it's all the same thing, but yeah, the third kit I'm a big fan of. Look, appreciate all the comments people going about nostalgia, sharp view cam. The 98-99 kit with a sharp number logo is one of the greatest kits. Can't beat nostalgia when you haven't won the league for ... Love that third kit, Nick. People are a fan of it, which is nice to see.
It's a lot better than Cities. Have you seen Cities?
I don't feel like they've ever had a nice kit. I'm not just saying it because it's Man City. Like, I honestly think all of their kits are horrible. I think they had one, I don't know if it was last season or year before, they had a third kit, funnily enough. That was the white one, I think. And it was kind of...
I think I know the one, yeah.
That's the only one I'm like, that's quite nice. But apart from that, I mean, what did they have, the drumstick lolly fucking last year, or the humbug suite, or whatever it looked like? Like, they've always got minging kit set. And it just suits that minging team.
Black, and is it like yellow kit? That's an awful kit, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but it suits them because they're a shit club. Right, we'll leave it at that because we've spoken about so much and we're past the hour mark now, so I don't want to keep people for too long. But I appreciate every single one of you who've tuned in today. We've covered quite a lot, like we discussed. Just for a brief recap for you guys, we spoke about Mbeuemo bid being rejected, Gyökeres wanting United, Antony back to Real Betis, Jason Wilcox's new role, PSR situation, and the new third kit for Manchester United. Don't forget, we've got James on tonight at 7 o'clock, so we are going to absolutely pick his brain about all the trending topics with United, like we just spoken about there. So really, really interested to speak to him. It's always great. It's always a kind of fan-packed show, so I hope to see as many of you as possible. Check that MBUEMO video out if you haven't seen it already for members, and that'll be dropping for regular viewers in the next few days. And drop us a follow on socials, subscribe to the channel, and